I had plans to make a nice overview video after open beta finished, but unfortunately it left a bitter taste and a lot of disappointment. So instead I decided to focus on all the issues, bugs and exploits that occurred, not due to game's fault, but at the fault of the incompetent publisher Amazon Games. You all know that I really like Throne and Liberty. It is an amazing game and I have no issues with almost anything related to gameplay. But when it comes to the incompetence of Amazon Games, I can't really stay silent anymore, and I just felt I have to say something. If open beta has shown anything, it's that the game is ready, but Amazon isn't. I know there will be many of you saying, oh, but it's open beta, they are stress testing, these things are supposed to happen. And you would be right for the most part, but you are forgetting that Throne and Liberty has been out for almost 8 months. And the most recent patches and updates worked flawlessly in the Korea. Yet Amazon was still able to break things. To me, open beta means that the final product is ready. And it just needs public testing to confirm everything is running smoothly, fixing minor issues and bugs, while also showing a glimpse of what players can expect on release, and use it also as a marketing strategy to attract many other players who never heard about the game. Throne and Liberty Open Beta peaked at around 60k players on Steam, plus maybe 10 to 20k on consoles, which puts it on the same numbers as Lost Ark final technical test before release. With around 80k players, the server issues in EU were absolutely catastrophic for the first 4 days of the open beta. Every single EU server experienced lags, crashing, inability to log in and massive delays, while to nobody's surprise, NA servers worked flawlessly. Amazon Games doesn't have a proven track record when it comes to server issues on release. New World was an absolute disaster, not just with the server issues, but with bugs, exploits and other issues that came with the release. Lost Ark wasn't anything better with massive queues, server issues, bots, and a controversial opening of a whole new region that ended up being dead very quickly, without the technology to merge regions and transfer servers. And the best part is that both of those games had open beta and technical tests before the release. Throne and Liberty is their third chance to make this right, and regardless if the game will have around 1 million concurrent players at launch or not, the servers need to be ready to support those player numbers. Throne and Liberty already have developed server merges and server transfers, so having extra servers on launch as a precaution that could potentially die quickly shouldn't be a problem. Even closed beta tests had these same server issues, but on a much smaller scale with a peak of 10,000 players. And it's honestly very worrying that they haven't done anything to fix them before open beta. It was supposed to show the game in its best possible way. It was a perfect opportunity to showcase how great Throne and Liberty is. But half of the initial 80k players simply quit after day 1 as they were not able to log in or play. These left a very bad impression on the game that already has a lot of negativity surrounding it. But it unfortunately had nothing to do with the game itself, and it has everything to do with a bad publisher. Just for the reference, Korean launch day had over 200,000 concurrent players and it had 0 server issues. I honestly have no faith that Amazon can pull off a successful launch without any major server issues. But it doesn't end here. Sure, Amazon servers can't handle 80k players, but their community managers and developers also cannot handle communication and transparency, which is something that Amazon Games is very well known for from New World and Lost Ark. When issues arise, they go silent, while on the contrary, NCSoft communicates with players regularly and they are very transparent about all these issues, bugs and problems, while keeping a track of what issues they are trying to fix next. I have never seen Amazon openly talking about issues that are present in their games, not even acknowledging it. I'm honestly baffled that they have not learned anything from New World and Lost Ark about communication and transparency with their players. Even a little message of acknowledgement of ongoing issues goes a long way. And when on the topic of bad communication and transparency, I also want to mention the absolute clowns who are in charge of moderating official Throne and Liberty Discord. Sure, insulting and being disrespectful warrants a ban from the Discord, But these clowns were banning people for asking about issues and problems, when they will be fixed, giving negative feedback. And the icing on the cake is that they were banning people who were just having normal conversation in a 30-minute slow-mode general chat for saying things like LOL, LMAO, fail, or Amazon games. For 7 freaking days. Yes, these people got banned for 7 days for typing LOL in the chat. Power-hungry mods, admins and community managers who are absolutely clueless about the state of the game and what's going on behind the scenes, giving us vague responses like "we are aware of it and we are working on it" to every issue. That's not the way to run things. But I guess that's all part of the Amazon branding now, hiring incompetent people for important jobs. Now let's talk about 3 issues, bugs and exploits that completely ruined open beta for me and many other players. PvE and dungeons are the core of Throne of Liberty endgame content. The matchmaking simply did not work for the most part. It was a 50-50 whether you will be stuck on a loading screen forever until you Alt F4 to Task Manager, or you will be able to load in, but somebody else that matched with your group was stuck in the infinite loading screen. In both of those scenarios, it meant that the group needed to be disbanded, as requeuing from the inside dungeons or inviting other players through Party Finder or LFG chat simply did not work. Even with the last day of open beta, this is still the issue for many players, and I have honestly done maybe 3 or 4 dungeons over the course of the whole open beta. It was never acknowledged as an issue, nor did they try to fix it, which isn't a great sign for the release. I played on the EU40 server, which was the main server that had massive issues, not even 1 hour after the server opened. Even through all the server issues, I was able to reach max level, but I couldn't enjoy any endgame content. Early on day 3, the whole guild decided that we will server transfer to EU42, as that was the only EU server without any issues. We gave it a last chance on the Riftstone and said if it bugs out again, we are all server transferring. Of course, the server crashed exactly when Riftstone capture began. We all managed to log in 5 to 10 minutes later, and to everyone's surprise, the guild was completely deleted. Not just our guild, every guild on the server was deleted. This was of course a bug, and it wasn't really deleted, but at the moment we thought it was. And that was the final straw that made us server transfer. When using a server transfer ticket, it clearly said that none of us are in the guild, meaning we can transfer. The server transfer was successful, but then we couldn't create, join or be invited to any guild on the server due to the bug from the previous one. All of our characters were still bound to the guild on the old server, even though it said that we are not in a guild. This issue took another day and a half to resolve. But for me and few others it never got resolved, meaning that for the duration of open beta I wasn't able to join the guild unless I created a new character and started over, which I didn't want to do as I had faith it would get resolved. How very foolish of me. With this, I have missed every single endgame PvP content like world bosses, riftstones and arch bosses, which completely unmotivated me for playing the rest of the beta. At the questions regarding this issue, I was told by clowns on the Discord that they are aware of it and the team is working to fix it. But honestly, they were never really working on it to fix it, which on my 3rd time asking about the same issue, I was banned from the Discord on 7 days. I've never seen an official Discord be this poorly managed. And I can only imagine how many other players also had this issue with server transferring and inability to join guilds on a new server. Which leads me to the last thing, which is a major game-breaking, let's call it exploit, but it wasn't really an exploit. It was Amazon fucking up the most basic concept. On day 1 that exploit was found out by someone in my guild and it was instantly reported privately to one of the community managers, which he said that he will pass it along to the devs. On day 2, every major top guild and veteran player have abused this exploit and have gained a significant advantage over everyone else. It was then brought to the attention in the Discord and all they had to say was, "We are aware, we can't fix it now, but please don't use the exploit." Basically saying, "We don't know how to fix it, but we are hoping you won't abuse it." And to nobody's surprise, everyone abused it, and on day 3 they finally fixed it, but it was already too late. Since the exploit was fixed, let me explain what it was and how it was done. The key element in the exploit is that you could gain an infinite amount of Solant. You can see that I have close to 100 million Solant. This was possible due to one thing. In Stoneguard Castle, at the Skillbook Crafter, you could craft process purple marins. As you can see, they can be crafted from thin air, as they require 0 blue process marins, and it only costs 42k Solant to craft one. But here's the twist. You could then sell that purple process marin for 432,000 at the merchant, meaning for every crafted purple process marin, you get 10 times more Solant when selling it. And as long as you have time to spam craft these marins one by one, you could in theory do it infinitely. Now that Solant wasn't the problem anymore, the way people gain advantage was by crafting green and blue skill books to upgrade all of their skills to purple level 1 on day 1 of open beta. You can see how unrealistic this is. All you needed for that was purple skill parchments that you gained from dungeons, dissolve them, and now you have blue parchments which you can dissolve for green parchments, allowing you to craft all the green and blue books that you need. But you could take it a step further by crafting purple skill books and upgrading your purple skills to a higher level. Infinite Solant allowed me to go from 1 purple skill book to 53. The way this worked is that every time you dissolve a purple skill book, you gain the same amount of purple parchments as you need to craft 1 skill book. So 1 skill book would give 5 parchments, and 5 parchments are needed to craft 1 skill book. You only need Solant and process marins, but you can get them infinitely. But here's the twist. Crafting skill books can crit and give great success, meaning you get an extra skill book. So if you're crafting 1 skill book and it crits, now you have 2. You then dissolve those 2 books and now you're crafting 2 books. If both of them crit, now you have 4 books, and you can repeat that infinitely. It is a very boring and time-consuming cookie clicker game, but I was able to go from 1 book to 53 books doing this. Before I gave up, of course. And the way they band-aid fixed it was just making process marins unsellable, meaning no more infinite Solant. You can still craft these marins out of thin air, so I am not sure how and when they plan to fix that. The funniest part is that when all of this was released in Korea, it worked perfectly without any issues and exploits. But Amazon somehow made a shit show out of it. Now imagine if this exploit was on the release. Shonen Liberty would be dead within 1 week. And this would completely destroy the balance, destroy the economy, and destroy anyone's will to play. Plus, knowing Amazon would take a few weeks to acknowledge and fix this without ability to re-roll would definitely mean a dead game. But I guess Open Beta served its purpose in finding this, something that works perfectly on Korea, but somehow it got lost in translation for Amazon. I don't even know how that works. I also want to say a few words about the Founders Packs that were announced on the first day of Open Beta. If you plan on buying a Deluxe or Ultimate bundle and you don't care about the skins, cosmetics or even 5-day early access, don't buy it. It is a complete scam. 5-day early access is included in all 3 bundles, so the best value is the standard bundle. In my personal opinion, both costumes are shit. Nobody cares about the morphs as you rarely even notice someone having a cool one. I've never gone, oh wow, look at that cool tiger or a cool eagle morph this guy has. Nope, that never happened, I don't care about it. I also have the option to show everyone Amito is turned off, so I never see what someone has. They only serve 2 purposes anyways. To automatically loot all your shit you drop from killing mobs and to automatically heal you. Titles and emotes are completely useless, and unless you want to be branded as the idiot who spent $100 on it, be my guest. The interesting part is the amount of Lucent you get. Since we don't know the rates of Lucent, I'm going to assume that 1000 Lucent is $100. Otherwise the value of the bundle is legitimately a scam. If 1000 Lucent is $100, then Amazon really said, hey, if you want to Giga Whale and hardcore pay to win, then we're gonna make a bank off of you. Three things are missing from the bundles to justify the prices. First, there are no weapon skins to match the outfits. In Korea, they always release matching weapon skins with the outfits. Second, they could have included the first battle pass for free in one of the bundles. This is a normal practice in other games, so it makes no sense it wasn't included. And third, the Blessing of Solysium will most likely be released in somewhat balanced version in the first month after release. So having also a 30-day Blessing of Solysium included for once it's out would have given the value to the bundles. This way both the Deluxe and Ultimate are complete scam, and I will be buying the standard pack only due to early access. Throne of Liberty is a great game, with amazing content and an incredible endgame. I'm sure you were able to experience it yourself and see that all those negative comments and videos aren't really justified. In this video I only focus on the negative sides, but not negative sides of the game, but negative sides of Amazon. I have faith in success of global Throne of Liberty, but I also fear that Amazon will again ruin those chances of success with their sheer incompetence. Throne of Liberty is the last chance I give Amazon, and if they fuck it up this time, I will never touch another game where Amazon has fingers in it. With that being said, Throne of Liberty will be my main game for the foreseeable future, and I will also be playing on Korea until global release. Take care, and I'll see you in the Solysium.